These are the most bizarre, scary, and extreme places people actually live. Welcome back, Charlie here. From a town 9,000 feet in the sky to a city so cold food freezes mid-air. You won't believe people actually live on this island. It's named Migingo Island. It can be found on Lake Victoria in between Uganda and Kenya. It has a population of 131 people who live in these shantytown-style metal shacks. Life on Migingo Island is very tough. The locals mainly make their money by fishing. The island has one food shop, 4 pubs, a pharmacy, and various There's also sometimes military conflicts on the island. That's because both Uganda and Kenya claim Migingo Island as their territory. Migingo Island is very poor, with an average salary of $42 per month. But an even crazier place to live is Liangshan-yi. This cliff village is found in China. The village is located on the top of a mountain, at an altitude of 5,200 feet. 72 families live here. There is a school at the bottom of the mountain. Every day, school kids have to climb down hundreds of steps and walk across cliff faces with no barriers to get to school. The villagers of Liangshan-yi are mainly farmers. The vegetables and pork they produce has to be carried down the mountain, which is an incredibly dangerous task. Some people have never left the cliff village in their life. If the villagers want to go to the outside world, it will take them 6 hours to climb down the mountain, and a further 6 hours to get back up. And every time they do this, they're risking their lives. The people of Liangshan-yi live a very hard life, but an even harder place to live is Chongqing. This floating village is located in Cambodia. On the Tonle Sap Lake, there is a town named Chongqing. It sounds crazy, but there are over 1 million people living on this lake, taking shelter in these floating huts. There are over 200 species of fish living in this lake. Because of this, the residents make almost all of their money from fishing. Despite all the fish, the people who live here are very poor. Because you need a boat to leave, there are some residents who rarely leave Chongqing. Some of the houses are also very unstable and sometimes sink into the lake. But an even more dangerous place to live is Yakutsk. This is officially the coldest city in the world. Yakutsk is found in Siberia, Russia. Temperatures regularly drop below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and in the winter it gets even colder than that. The lowest temperature ever recorded here was -84 degrees Fahrenheit, which is enough to end your life. Despite the harsh conditions, 342,000 people live in Yakutsk. The residents can't drive as their cars won't start. They can't wear glasses as they freeze to your face. When you buy milk, it comes frozen solid. Even foods like eggs and noodles freeze before you can eat them. In the winter, it's only light for 4 hours a day, whereas in the summer, it stays light for 21 hours a day. All the signs show Yakutsk is not a place humans should live. But an even more unbelievable place people actually live is here. This is Larongga. It's a Buddhist village found in China. Over 10,000 people live here, packed inside these tiny red houses. These houses have no running water, meaning the residents have to carry their water in buckets up these steep roads. But an even higher place people actually live in is here. This is the Hengshan Hanging Temple. It's found in China. This 1,500-year-old temple was built right into the mountainside, 246 feet above the ground. Around 50 people live here. To get to the nearest town takes hours, meaning that the people who live here rarely ever leave. The thin pathways are made of wood chiseled into the rock. It may look dangerous, but it's been here for over 1,500 years. Even so, I wouldn't jump up and down here. An even more remote place to live is Slab City. Slab City can be found in Southern California, USA. Slab City is located on a former military base. The people who live here want to live off the grid in a free society. Slab City has no government, no police, no ambulances, no fire engines, no judges, and no laws. The residents have to do everything for themselves, including settling any disputes between residents. An even crazier place to live is here. This is Whittier, Alaska. The entire city lives in this one building. It's a 14-story building that houses the city's 272 people. The city gets gets freezing cold. For that reason, the building has everything you could need, including a school, shops, a church, a gym, a hospital, and even a movie theater. Everyone has to get along as they all live together, earning it the nickname the city under one roof. This is Fanjing Shan. It's a tiny village located on the top of Mount Fanjing in China. The residents live 9,000 feet in the sky. Surprisingly, some 1,000 people live in Fanjing Shan. Getting to the top involves climbing over 8,000 steps, which takes 5 hours. The highest part of Fanjing Shan consists of 2 houses, connected by a stone bridge. Fanjing Shan is high, but where is the highest place in the world to live? That would be this place named La Rinconada in Peru. It's located in the Peruvian Andes, at a height of 16,700 feet, making it the highest town in the world by far. It's one of the most remote places in the world to live. There is a nearby gold mine which is where most of the residents work. Despite the gold, La Rinconada is very poor. Some residents work for more than 30 days without payment, and they're massively exploited by the gold mining companies. La Rinconada has no sanitary services. There is no sewage system, and of course no garbage trucks, meaning that trash is simply thrown on the ground. La Rinconada is also very toxic. The soil and water is contaminated with mercury. This means no animals can survive nearby, causing food shortages and hunger for the people of Rinconada. Perhaps the most extreme place to live is here. This is Sealand, a micronation found off the coast of Suffolk, UK. Sealand is an unused offshore oil platform. In 1967, a British man named Paddy Bates sailed to the oil platform and soon made this into his own micronation. Sealand has its own flag, national anthem, and passports. Bates's family still live on Sealand to this day, along with various other people, making a population of 27 people. All food and drink has to be taken to Sealand by boat, and it's obviously a very isolated and bizarre place to live. But the residents of this micronation love living here. You can actually visit Sealand as a tourist. The British government tried to take over Sealand various times, but every time they were fought off. And these days Sealand is basically left alone. Sealand even has its own prison on the island. In 2010 they tried to sell Sealand for $900 million, but the sale never went through. Today Sealand makes money by issuing its own stamps and passports, as well as noble titles such as Lord and Baron. Ed Sheeran is actually a lord on Sealand. Sealand is getting more and more famous every year, and people who want to live off the grid are moving to Sealand every year. Now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Which of these places were you most surprised people actually live in? And if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.